Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. My name is Sarah, and this is going to be my baby watch update for weeks 37 and 38 of this pregnancy. I am currently pregnant with baby number 2. We're having a girl in the next couple weeks, and we also have a 2-year-old little boy. So we've had a couple of doctor's visits in the past couple weeks. We're kind of at the point now where the doctor's visits are every week, and my doctor is checking me for dilation and effacement and just to make sure baby's head down and that things are looking good for delivery. So it's getting really exciting, but I wanted to share with you how the last couple doctor's appointments went for week 37 and for week 38. There have been some changes. And also, I wanted to show you what I have in my postpartum care kit for me for once I come home from the hospital, assuming that I have a normal vaginal delivery again like I had with my son. I just wanted to show you what I have at home, and hopefully it will be helpful to some of you that are watching this video. Before we get to that, let's do the pregnancy update. So week 36 is where I last left off, and I had gone to the doctor at technically 35 weeks and 6 days, and so she didn't want to check me. She didn't want to do my group B strep test, and so it was kind of a pointless visit, and she was just like, well, we'll do it all at the 37-week appointment. Fast forward another about week and a half, I went in at 37 plus 2 or 3 days, and she did swab me for the group B strep, and also checked my cervix and checked baby and things like that. So I'm measuring about a week behind now as far as like my belly goes. And she also kind of felt the baby and said she's seeming a little bit on the smaller side, but I remember that same result from with my son. But anyway, then she also checked my cervix, and I was very surprised because I was convinced that I'm just not going to be dilated because that's how it was my first pregnancy. But she said I am 2 centimeters dilated and 50% effaced, which is how thinned out your cervix is. So that was a surprise, kind of a good surprise that things are kind of happening. I know a lot of women say, oh, it doesn't mean anything. It could be 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters for weeks, or you could go into labor the same day. But for me, it's a change from my first pregnancy, so I was excited to hear that I'm 2 centimeters. Yeah, so the appointment went really well. Baby's very low, which I kind of knew because I do have like the prolapsed uterus and bladder issue. Kind of knew that she was very low. But she is engaged, head down, and facing the right direction. And she also did like a little ultrasound. It was like a little portable machine, but it was cool because I still got to see a few, body parts. Like her foot was like up here, and she's like, oh, let me put the ultrasound wand right there, and oh yeah, that's a foot. And I got to kind of see like her head being down, and so it was pretty cool. It was a fun visit, and that was week 37 and a few days. And then comparing that to my journal for my first pregnancy, I kind of talked a little bit about how my first pregnancy was at this point. Like I said, I was not dilated at all, but for my first pregnancy at 37 weeks, I was 60% effaced, and the baby was measuring about 6 pounds. Group B strep was negative, and hardly any Braxton Hicks contractions or anything like that. My weight during my first pregnancy was 160 pounds at this point. So right now at 38 and a half weeks, I weigh 159. So pretty close, just a couple pounds, maybe less this time around than the first time. But as far as contractions go, I have been having some, I'd still call them Braxton Hicks contractions, because they're not super painful, but they do feel crampy. And so they're more than just the pressure that I was feeling weeks ago. They're a little bit more painful. I'd say on like a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like very strong full body labor contractions. These are probably at about a 2 on the pain scale. So I have been having some contractions. But let's fast forward to week 38. So right now I'm 38 and a half weeks. And like I said, I had another doctor's visit this week. But for my first pregnancy, let's see, at 38 weeks, I'll show you, I did a belly shot. I feel like I look about the same this time around. I'll show you my belly at the end here. But that was 38 weeks with my last pregnancy, and I think I was just over 160 pounds at this point. So let's see. At my 38-week doctor's appointment, first pregnancy, baby was measuring about 6.5 pounds. I was hoping for a membrane sweep. I guess he didn't give me one though. Sounds like he didn't give me one. And this time around I didn't have a membrane sweep either because I don't want to go into labor quite yet. But other than that, I'm feeling uncomfortable, crampy, still craving sweets, and I was still not dilated at all. So this time around, I had my doctor's appointment. What day is it? Today's Friday. So it was yesterday. I had my 38-week appointment. I was just over 38 weeks, and I got checked again. And I'm now, she said, between a 2 and a 3 centimeters dilated. So a little bit more than last week. And I'm 60% effaced this time versus 50 last week. So that's also slightly more than last week. The other thing that happened was when she checked me, I was actually started to bleed a little bit. And it kind of stopped towards the end of the day yesterday. I went home, I was having like some, again, sort of painful contractions after getting checked and a little bit of bleeding, but it did stop. And then this morning, again, I had a little bit of bleeding, and I know this is TMI, but it was kind of like a mucousy tinged, red tinged blood. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like at any time my water could break. It's just probably wishful thinking, but she pushes so hard down, like straight into my cervix, and I'm always like, oh, maybe if she pushes like that one more time, maybe my water's gonna break, or if I lay down, maybe it'll just break on its own, or if I take a shower, maybe my water will break. And obviously, so far, my water has not broken, not in labor, but I do feel more and more crampy, a little bit more of that tightening, and we'll see. I don't know. Will I make it to 39 weeks or 40 weeks? I don't know, but I did decide to schedule an induction just in case I get to 40 weeks, because just personal preference, I don't want to go over 40 weeks. I know that some people disagree with that logic, but for me, I was induced last time by having my water broken, and I plan to do the same this time by having my water broken if I get to 40 weeks. So I don't know. I kind of don't think I'm going to get there, though. I've been saying all along I think she's going to come early, and I still feel that way. But we shall see. Time will tell. I wanted to make sure to film an update just in case things do rapidly change. The other thing the doctor said was that she does think that because of how low the baby is, she does think that it'll be a very quick labor, and she kept telling me both this week and last week, if you do start to have those contractions, just go to the hospital. Like, don't call and wait around for someone to call you back if it's the middle of the night or after hours or anytime really. She's like, if you start to have those strong labor contractions and you know that it's labor, just go to the hospital. She's like, I think things are gonna go really fast with your delivery just because of, I guess, how my pelvis is shaped and how low she is and how I'm already dilating. So I'm keeping that in the back of my head. As you guys know, my bags are already packed. I don't have the car seat installed still, but that's fine. Like, we could just throw the base and the seat in my trunk if necessary and install it once we're at the hospital. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else that, oh yeah, so also at this 38-week appointment, she did tell me that my Group B strep test came back and it is negative once again, so that's a relief. And yeah, I think that was all there was to it. We just scheduled the induction. She did the check. She had just delivered a baby earlier in that day, and so she had to go back over to the delivery unit or the labor and delivery unit and check on that mom and that baby. And so it was kind of a rushed appointment a little bit, but that's fine. Like, we got everything done and it was quick and I was in and out of there. And yeah, and I'll go back next week for a 39-week appointment if it's needed. So like I said, I want her to stay in there a few more days because we're waiting for some family to get in town to help watch my son while I go to the hospital with my husband to have the baby. And so that's why I want her to just hang out. I need like 3 more days at the least for her to just stay in there for things to go smoothly as far as childcare. Otherwise, I might need to make a few phone calls to friends to watch my son. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have for my pregnancy update and baby watch. I'm just excited that I feel like things are moving along, and I will try and film as much of the labor and delivery as I can. Probably not the actual delivery, but I will try and update during the labor, and of course afterwards give the whole story, and hopefully it's not too eventful but still interesting. I don't know. I like watching labor and delivery videos. They're always so sweet and I always tear up at the end. So yeah, I'm really excited. We are honing in on names, but I'm gonna just kind of keep it to myself for now, and then we'll announce it because I haven't even told family or anyone else besides just me and my husband what we're thinking of for the name. But I will obviously announce it once she's born, and it's not fully decided yet, but I think we're getting close. So let me just show you my belly, and then we'll get into the postpartum care kit. This is my week 38 and a half belly. Just wearing a kind of a t-shirt, jersey knit dress. Turn this way. And still no stretch marks or anything like that. Just feeling, heavy and slow, and like I said, crampy. Actually, my foot is cramping up right now. One of those lovely pregnancy symptoms. Ugh. Yeah. Otherwise, as far as symptoms go, things have mostly been the same. Just a little bit of heartburn, cramps, like those Charlie horse cramps. I get those a lot in my calves, and in my feet I get cramps as well. But feeling overall just big and pregnant, but pretty good. All right, so moving on to the postpartum care kit, I will show you what I got and kind of explain what's missing from this care kit and why. Like I said, the hospital does provide a lot of what you need. All right, so this is what I have for the postpartum care kit. They will provide you a lot of similar items at the hospital, but of course it's nice to have your own products at home ready to go when you return from labor and delivery. So the first thing you might notice is that I don't have a peri bottle in this care kit. They will give you that at the hospital. It's really nice to put cold water in there, maybe even a little bit of aloe, and use that just to kind of wash yourself down. But like I said, I'll get that from the hospital. But let's start with the basket here. You can find something very similar to this at the dollar store, but I picked this one up at Target. And then moving on to the product back here, this is just a bottle of witch hazel. You can put this on toilet paper or on anything that you're using. It's just really soothing to have witch hazel, and a lot of women get the Tux pads, which are basically these circular pads soaked in witch hazel. And so you can kind of do something similar to that, just using a bottle of witch hazel, or the hospital will provide you with Tux pads to bring home as well. Next, you'll notice I have these 2 spray bottles. This is Dermoplast. It's a pain relieving spray, and you spray it right on yourself, and it's really nice to kind of numb down there from burning and itching sensations. So make sure if you pick this up to get the one with the blue cap and not the red one, because the red one's going to have some alcohol in it and that's going to burn. This other bottle is kind of similar, but it's what they give you at the hospital. So I was given this after I had my son, and it's not expired yet, so I still have some extras, so I'll use this up first. Then moving on to diapers and pads. So after my last delivery, I did not purchase any adult diapers, and I just used the mesh underwear that the hospital gave me for a few days, and then switched to my own underwear with giant overnight pads. And it was not very comfortable, and so this time I decided to pick up some adult diapers. I went with these, the Always Discreet underwear, maximum protection in a small medium size, and they come in a pack of 19. They're pretty big, but they seem to be really comfortable, so I think that this will work better, and a lot of women seem to recommend doing the diaper thing instead of the giant pads for the first few days. I also have a few of those in my hospital bag. In addition to the diapers that I have here, I do have some maximum protection pads, which I might use, I might not. They're kind of left over from my last delivery, but I have them in here. And then I also have a few thin but long pads as well here. And so that's really all I have right now in this postpartum care kit. I'll just keep this in my bathroom and add the peri bottle to it, and maybe some of the hospital provided Tux pads when I get back. But I think this will be all I need. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that it's a little bit helpful. I wasn't really sure what to buy the first time around, and so that's why I just wanted to add this to the video. And then of course, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are interested. And I will see you all in the next video if we make it to 39 weeks. If not, you can expect a labor and delivery video from me very soon. All right, take care everyone.